Hello again. Today we're going to talk about solving equations involving radicals. There's my steps. I'm just going to jump right in. Okay, so when you're solving an equation involving a square root, we get the square root by itself. So I'm just going to move the square root of 4x plus 12 to the other side. So once you get the square root by itself, you're going to square both sides. So then we would have x squared, the squared and the square root give you 4x plus 12. We're going to get everything on one side. So I'm going to move everything onto the side with my x squared. And then we're going to factor. I do not have a number in front of my x squared, so I can use my shortcut. So s is 4x and p is negative 12x squared. So I want to know what multiplies to give me negative 12, adds to give me negative 4. So that'll be negative 6 and positive 2. So it's going to end up being x minus 6 and x plus 2. I set them both separately equal to 0, and I get x equals 6 and x equals negative 2. Now, on these, you do have to check your answers. So I'm going to check the 6 first, and to check it, you just plug it back in everywhere there's an x, and then you see if it works. So 6 minus 4 times 6 is 24 plus 12 is 36, so the square root of 36. So 6 minus 6 is 0. Check. So this one works. Now we're going to check negative 2. I'm going to do it over here. So negative 2 minus the square root of 4 times negative 2 plus 12. That's negative 2 minus the square root of negative 8 plus 12 is 4. So negative 2 minus the square root of 4 is 2. That does not give me 0. Because what happens is when you're squaring, when you're squaring both sides, sometimes that just creates an extra answer that doesn't work. So you always have to check them. Now, this kind, my high school kids always give me grief about doing this with them, but I tell them that we see that in college, so here we are seeing it in college. So if you have two square roots, you get one of them by itself first. I keep hitting, I'm sorry. So you're going to move this one over. So the square, sorry, it's the end of the high school year and I'm cleaning up and I'm stirring up dust and it's making me sneeze. So you get one of your square roots by itself, then we're going to square both sides. So the square root of 3x plus 1 squared, that does cancel and give me 3x plus 1. But on this side, we're going to have to write that twice and full it out. So we're going to full first. 1 times 1 is 1. Outer. 1 times the square root is 1 square root. Inner. Square root times 1 is 1 square root. Last, square root times the square root is just x plus 4. And then I have 3x plus 1 equals. So now I'm going to combine like terms. So 3x plus 1 equals my like terms. I have the 1 goes with the 4. Then I have 1 square root plus 1 square root, and then my x is just all alone. So I'm going to go ahead and combine the 1 and the 4. That makes 5. Oops, sorry. 5 plus my x, I'm just going to go ahead and bring him down, plus, and then I have 1 of them plus 1 of them makes 2 of them. Okay, now that I've got one of my square roots gone, I'm going to get the other square root by itself. So I'm going to move everything to the other side. So minus 5 minus x. So that gives me 2x minus 4 equals 2 square root of x plus 4. And I'm going to get this one by itself. Now, I could divide by 2 here because those numbers are even and it will work out nicely. Or I could go ahead and square it as it sits. I'm going to go ahead and just square it because sometimes it doesn't work out and you end up with fractions, so you're better off just going ahead and squaring both sides. So now I'm going to write my 2x minus 4 twice, and then this side I square the 2, that's 4, and square the square root. And I'm going to go ahead and go up here. So if I full that out, 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 4 is negative 8x. And then 4 times negative 2x is negative 8x. And then 4 times 4 is plus 16. and I'm going to go ahead and distribute the right side. 4x plus 16. Combine like terms, so I have 4x squared minus 16x plus 16 equals 4x plus 16. I move my 4x over, get everything on one side. You always want to get it equal to 0. So I have 4x squared minus 20x, the 16's cancel, equals 0, and I factor. I can take out a 4x, x minus 5, set them both separately equal to 0. I get 4x equals 0, and x minus 5 equals 0. Divide by 4. So x is 0, and x is 5. Then I have to check them, both. So 0 and 5, I'm about to erase everything so that I can check them. So if you need to pause before I erase everything. So I'm going to check 0 and 5. So I'm going to check 0 first, which means I plug in a 0 everywhere there's an x. 3 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is the square root of 1 minus the square root of 4 equals 1. So that's 1 minus 2 equals 1. Negative 1 equals 1. So that one does not work. So throw the 0 away. Now I'm going to check the 5. 3 times 5 plus 1 minus 15 plus 1, that's the square root of 16, minus the square root of 9 equals 1. 4 minus 3 equals 1. 1 equals 1. That's true. So my answer is 5. And example 6. So if I have cubed roots, I have to do the same thing, get one of the cube roots by itself, but this time I'm going to cube both sides. So I'm just going to move the cube root of x to the other side. And now when I cube both sides, the cube roots both cancel at the same time, which is nice. So I get 5x squared minus 12x plus 6 equals x. Move the x over. So I have 5x squared minus 13x plus 6 equals 0, and I have to factor again. It is very important that you know how to factor. I can't emphasize enough in my high school classes how important it is to be able to factor 30x squared. So what multiplies to give you 30 adds to give you negative 13. That's going to be a negative 10 and a negative 3, because 10 times 3 is 30. 10 plus 3 is 13. So I always bring down the first one. I cannot use my shortcut because I have a number in front of x squared. Replace the middle. So I'm replacing, so every time we factor, I'm trying to give you a refresher. You replace the 13 with 10 and 3. Bring down the 6 group. I can take out a 5 and an x. 5 goes into 5, 1. 5 goes into 10, 2. Minus, I can take out a 3. 3 goes into 3, 1. 3 goes into 6, 2. And then I notice that these are the same. So it's x minus 2. And whatever's left, 5x minus 3. And I set them both separately equal to 0. So x minus 2 equals 0. 5x minus 3 equals 0. Add the 2. X equals 2. Add the 3. Divide by 5. X equals 3/5. And for sake of time, both of these do work. You check them both, they both give you the right answer. So, just so you know. And then we're going to stop, semi stop sign, after example 7. Now, if it has a rational exponent, an equation with a rational exponent contains a variable or variable expression. These are straight out of the book. Oh, well, variable expression was supposed to go here. Raised to an exponent that is a rational number. Basically, you have fractions as exponents. To get rid of a fraction as an exponent, you just raise it to the reciprocal. So I'm going to raise both sides to the 2/3. So the 2/3 and the 3/2 cancel. 216 to the 2/3, that is the cube root of 216 squared. Because your rule is x to the a over b, the number on the bottom is your root, and the number on the top is your exponent. So the cube root of 216, so the cube root of 216, I don't know what that is, so I'm just gonna, I think it's 6, but I'm not for sure. And it's not working, and it's angry. Cube root of 216 is 6, okay, that's not working, is 6 squared So x equals 36. This one I'm going to raise both sides to the 5 halves. The 2 and the 5 cancel, so x plus 7 equals the square root of 4 raised to the 5th. The square root of 4 is 2 raised to the 5th. So x plus 7 equals 2 to the 5th is 32 minus 7, x equals 25. And I probably should check that just to make sure it works. 25 plus 7 is 32 to the, yeah, it does. And this one, 36 cube root, yeah, that's right. So they both did work. I'm going to stop this video before I move on to the next thing.